everybody, it's Kristi with the Garden Tower Project again, and I have, around these flowers, a special guest with me today. This is my mother-in-law, Eleanor, and she's visiting, and we thought it would be nice to plant up a tower for things that we could use in the summer, and some flowers. And we started this process, and we've stopped and started several times today, thanks to the rain. And the weather just cleared up a little bit, so Elle is gracious enough to be on the live video with us today to talk about what we're doing and how we do it. And Elle actually has some experience with this because she just recently helped set up a friend of hers tower as well. So one of the things that we do want to show you today, besides the planting, is also Elle's getting ready to celebrate her 80th birthday. And it is still very easy, no matter what your age or what your ability level, to be able to garden. So, Elle, do you want to say a few words about why you think this works well for gardening?
Well, it works for me because I don't kneel very well anymore.
Yeah.
And it's really great because I can sit down, or I can stand, or I can stoop, whatever, I feel I need to do.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier on
your
knees.
It makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
On your knees, right.
Yeah. So what we did to kind of, as we were starting today, is we have a helper in the background, and he's telling us that you can't see us right now. So we'll wait just a second. How do we need to adjust so you can see things? Can you see both of us? Okay, I can only step in so far because we have all of our plants. So I'm just going to sit here like I'm hanging on this. And you might see the camera move a little bit if Tom is the one helping us today. He might need to adjust it a bit, or I might need to stop. Moving that will change it a lot. There. So hopefully that's a little better. Sorry for the little delays getting this set up. We didn't think we were going to get to do this today because of weather, so we kind of quickly got things in order. So what we're going to talk about a little bit, and we're not going to plant this whole thing, but what we'll talk about a little bit is what we're planting and why we're planting it where. So as you guys know, and you've experienced, Elle, it's getting hot. So if you're just now getting your tower set up for summer, there's a lot of things that you can't plant right now unless, like lettuces. Those heat-tolerant lettuces you might be able to, but a lot of the cooler weather crops are going to go ahead and bolt. And so what we decided to do was to kind of reconfigure this to be mostly herbs, a few hot weather plants, and then a lot of flowers just to make it really pretty, because this is in front of our kitchen window. So we planted some of this already. So thanks to Elle's artistic eye.
Right.
We planted this nice little bunch of, I believe these are petunias, and right here, so we'd have a nice big bunch of color. And these will get a little bit bigger, but not tons, but they should fill out a lot with a lot of flowers on it, which the bees will really like. And one of the things we wanted to try to do on this tower was to make it a little more artistic, and not just throwing stuff in haphazardly. So you're going to hear our dogs in the background, as usual, for those that you have watched these live events. This is the first one we've done outside. They've all been in the greenhouse, so we have a lot more outdoor noises than we normally have this time around. But that's what makes it all the more fun. So I think maybe Elle and I were discussing, I plant from the top down, mostly because I'm so short that in order for me to get up in here to the top to plant, I crush the plants that are on the sides. But Elle's taller than me and has longer arms than me and is able to do it opposite. And doing it opposite makes a lot of sense. One of the reasons that makes sense, let's go over. So we laid some of this out. So we have a whole line of basil here. So we're going to start Elle that made it sense to start from the bottom.
I like to start from the bottom because when you plant, you can fill in by pushing down from the pocket above, and I think it makes it a lot easier to cover the roots. Otherwise, you have to bring the dirt in from the side and put it in the front.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's easier to cover the roots if you can push it down from the pocket above. But then if you do that, then you got to do that all the way up. So therefore, if you start on the bottom, you can fill the pockets as you're going up. So.
Christine had asked, she's wondering if there's links to any videos on composting.
Oh, yes. We have several links. We have several videos posted on our Facebook page if you go to videos. And we're in the process of putting them on our YouTube page as well. That's Garden Training or Garden Tower Project. We did, Tom and I actually together did a very long, comprehensive video. It's over an hour long, covers everything that you could possibly want to know. And then there's a couple other shorter videos about simply how to take care of worms and what vermicomposting is. So after we're done with this live event, we could post links to those videos, or you can just scroll through the videos that are listed on our Facebook page. So you want to...
I'm going to start. Why don't I start
yeah.
down there?
One of the advantages of a garden tower is, and this works well, that you can sit and garden. So it makes it really easy if you have, let me put this bucket back for that. So if you have bad knees or a bad back, you can easily get down to the bottom pockets and be able to put stuff in.
Okay. Now this is what I like to do.
So this is a good. I've never tried this method before. Elle just told me about it today. So once again, always learning something new, because this is a completely flexible and forgiving system. You can do a lot of different things. I mean, everything. So this is the first time that, though some of you have done this already, but this is the first time that I've heard about it, and I thought it was a really great idea. So.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
So now.
So then you push dirt down from here
right.
to back there.
Well, okay. So we don't have anything in this.
Not yet,
yeah,
but
not yet.
We're gonna go up this line.
Now, if I plant something here, I'm not going to be able to push dirt down into here. Okay. So this,
so you want to plant here now because you're going to be pushing this dirt down.
Right, right. So what do we have that we want to put in here?
So that is a great question. So this is also part of the talking about what you plant where. So some of the kind of the standard, though you don't have to follow this, are things that are vining and things that like a lot of water. You put towards the bottom. Things that like stuff a little drier, you plant towards the top. So what we are going to be putting in here are, let me find them here. I had to buy starts because I used all of my starts for the towers that you guys have already seen in the greenhouse. So we bought starts from local nurseries that do all organic, non-GMO seeds. So these are baby watermelons, right? So they're not going to get, a 15-pound watermelon. And we're going to plant some of these on the bottom.
there 3 plants in there? Or is it
Yeah,
one?
no, there's 3. So what we're going to do is open that up. And I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but it's got a lot of roots. And so what we're going to do is gently, I'll do it up above here so everybody can see it. Gently open that root ball up and tease one of them out.
Okay.
There you go. And we'll set these over here to do in other
Okay.
pockets.
So now I'm just going to turn this just a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to take some soil out. I don't like wearing gloves. I'm not a gloves person.
I am not a gloves person either, so this works out well. Though you're more than welcome to wear gloves if you would prefer to wear gloves. I just like feeling the soil and understanding where everything is
Now,
in the process.
Okay, so I'm just going to push some down to help me cover it up in the back, just because I think it's easier than adding it from the...
Yeah,
Okay.
so instead of pulling everything out and then trying to pack it all back in.
Right.
One of the things that doing this method does, which is a good method that I'm going to try to employ,
Here, I'll put some in the front here.
is it avoids and empties any air pockets that you have that might cause the dirt to dry out. So this is a really good... I'm stealing it, Ellen. Elle, I'm going to take it from
Okay.
you.
All right. Okay, so now we have 2 emptier pockets here, so we have to push this down now.
Well, now we're going to plant this basil here.
Okay, so I better do that before I push the dirt down.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. All right.
So we're getting some really nice comments here. There's Jeff Klausing says, thanks for sharing. And
You're welcome, Jeff. Thank you.
Christine says she plants top down too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, top down?
Paul Lewis says, thanks girls.
You're welcome,
Chris
Paul.
says, awesome ladies. Laura, awesome.
Well, if you have questions, I really appreciate the nice feedback, but if you have questions too, definitely ask.
Okay.
Drew says, you inspire me.
Ah, awesome.
Okay, here we go.
Well, see, Elle, you're inspiring, even getting ready to turn 80. You're inspiring people to do more things,
Oh,
and
dear.
that's
All
awesome.
right. Well, if I could encourage elderly people to do this, I think that's a great thing. Okay,
So we could just keep kind of going down this line.
we could. Yes,
Yeah,
we could.
so why don't I do that?
Okay.
So while she's doing that, I'm going to start at the top. We'll see if our ends meet in the middle. Right. So what I'm planting at the top, I got 2 sweet pepper plants. Those will work well in summer. So that's why I got them. So I'm just going to dig a little hole here. Pop these out. And if you do buy starts and you get good pots like these that are solid, not cheap pots, I save them all because they're great for starting seeds and transplanting seeds. And you can see this one's got a lot of roots. Do you need to twist? Or I didn't know if you needed to move this for your next.
No, I'm okay.
So we kind of open up the root structure there a little bit, and I plop it in. And now in looking at this, at what Elle's doing, so even if we need to push down from up above, it's much easier to add a whole bunch of dirt back over what you're putting in the top than grabbing and trying to pack it around the basils. It's a great technique, Elle.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of knowledge there. Lots of experience there. Right? Firsthand, like, this was a pain the first time I did it. Why don't I do it this way going forward?
Okay, there we go.
So we got, and is that basil in? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that one's in.
Oh no, it's just laying
I'm
there.
going to have to turn this just a little bit.
Well, perfect timing.
Okay.
Because the other thing that does still fairly well in the summer is fennel. So that's what this is. So we're going to be putting in a couple fennel plants. Set those off to the side. And once again, this isn't very root bound, so I just loosen it up a little bit, place it equidistant from that pepper, push it down, cover it up. Simple as can be.
Okay.
One of our upstanding community members wrote, "Wow, I did the push down method when helping my mom set up. I thought that's the way it worked. Ellen and I think alike."
Great minds think alike.
Right. Okay.
So,
All right, we've got one empty pocket here. What are we going to do with that?
so is the other okay, so I don't know
All right,
if
we've
it
got watermelon.
shows
Okay.
easily, but we have a watermelon there, and it's not good to put two melons necessarily side by side because
Should we could leave the pocket empty.
yeah, we can fill it in with stuff that we have left over at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But what you would want to put in this pocket then is something that's going to kind of grow up that won't shade the watermelon when it terraces out.
Okay.
So let's do another turn here. So the other thing,
All right.
we're getting highly experimental with our design here. So so we did this nice little set of flowers, and so now we're going to do a V of chard going down this way, and then toothache plant coming up this way. I'm sorry, an X. Well, it's a V with just the little tiny pieces of an X down there, but toothache plants do well in the tower. They don't get big. They get kind of round. They get a nice flower on them, and they're medicinal. They're called toothache plants because you chew the leaves, and it helps kind of numb, kind of a natural Orajel-ish kind of thing. So, so you want to start at the bottom.
I want to start at the bottom. Okay, so I've got a toothache plant to put in first.
Yep.
That's this guy. He's pretty big.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to take a little bit more soil out of
Yeah,
that
I think
one.
I'm going to have to take a lot, actually.
So while she's doing that, tag teaming this, I wasn't expecting us to plant the whole tower during this live event, but I think we might get the whole tower planted during this live event. It depends on how we're doing on time and number of questions and all that jazz.
All right, I don't know. This guy's really big.
So you can squish it. Kind of show you what it popped in.
Okay,
Yeah,
there
you
we
didn't
go.
have to squish it.
No, there
Yeah.
we go. Okay.
So I'm going to plant this other pepper directly across from the one I already planted. Push that down, cover it up. And then I'm going to plant another dill across from the one I had already planted. So what do you think of this design, Elle? Do you think it's going to look pretty?
I think so. I think it will look lovely. One of the things I just remembered is that when you're pushing from the top down, if the soil is too wet, it doesn't work real well. I mean, it's difficult.
Right,
because
because it clumps.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're doing this, it's better if it's a little drier.
Like when you're first planting it before it's just completely soaked.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So one thing, as most everybody knows these days, is having some flowers and options for all of the bees and the butterflies to come in and get some nectar and feed and draw the bees in that I'm going to need to pollinate the flowers on my peppers, so I actually get peppers. We did buy probably an excess of flowers for this project. They might end up somewhere else in our yard. But one of the ones I got, this is a bachelor button. And hopefully you can kind of see those beautiful blue leaf flowers. You've had those around.
Is
They're
that
like little.
chicory?
No, they're related to carnations.
But I call that chicory. Am I wrong?
I think chicory is a relative. Like they're in a I'm not
Okay.
100% sure, but chicory I think has a little bit different flower on it.
Oh, okay.
Not such a thick mum-like flower. But I could be wrong. We could look it up.
Laura says, I'm learning so much from you guys. Thanks for sharing.
Well, you're welcome, Laura. I'm glad that this is helping. So this is a pretty big plant. It's very root bound, as you can see. So one of the things that I do to help with that is I have a bucket of water over here that you're not going to be able to see, but I will get the ends wet so I can
That's not going to work.
loosen it up a little bit. But if you just kind of, give it a little massage so it encourages them to come out of the root system, and that way they'll spread into the garden. So I'm going to plant that up here.
You know what?
Do you need to move again?
No, but I lost my design.
Oh no!
Okay, I put the toothache plant in, but where does our chard go?
So
Okay,
we have chard here. Oh yeah.
Wait, was
yeah.
it?
No, wait a minute.
Wait, oh, I know it. It was going this way. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So chard there, and then you have two. I think you have two more chards in
So
there.
my chard is going to go here and here.
Yep.
Okay.
And there.
Okay.
And then you still have one toothache plant.
Okay. All right. Can I turn this just a little bit?
Sure. It's pretty easy to turn even sitting down, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think it works really well. So we gotta wait for the next spin for the next thing I was gonna plant. But I'll go ahead and put some of this other stuff in too. So this is a calendula. It does have medicinal properties. This is a beacon for ladybugs and bees, the yellow, orange, anything that's like kind of marigoldish, they go nuts for. This will get about as big as the spatula button that I put on the top. So I'm going to put that over here on the top too. It should cause very little competition because there's so much of dirt, what am I trying to say, Elle? There's so much dirt in the column that it shouldn't cause a problem at all. So we're going to massage that, encourage those roots to come out. I take off all the dead stuff. I'm going to stick that one right here.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. You can turn it now if you want to turn it. Do you need to turn it?
Well, no, I'm trying to think. So we didn't think all of this out. We just did part of it. So it's good to kind of think about what you're going to do on the fly with the things that you have in front of you. So we have, where did those go? You can see, and this is just my design aesthetic. It does not mean that this is the way that anybody else would do it. But these have very distinctive leaves, and they have a little bit of a distinctive color. And it helps, I'm going to turn it just a bit. No. It helps create a break between all of these flowers that are happening here. And then we're going to fill this with parsley. So that'll give a nice green space there. So we'll probably switch back to a few of the flowers that we got for in here. And first one's in there.
And somebody mentioned bee balm. Bee balm something to do in the tower, or is that too invasive?
That's a good question. Bee balm will come back year after year. Its other name is known as Menardra. It can be really invasive, but if you trim it before it drops all of its seeds. You'll probably be able to limit it to just a couple pockets, and it'll come up year after year.
Isn't it a huge plant, though?
It can get a huge plant.
It can't be really big.
You would want to plant it towards the top if you want to put some in, but it can get invasive. What I have done in the past to try to control it is, instead of putting it in my tower, I will put it in a couple pots around the tower, so it's a little more decorative area around the tower, and it draws the bees in, which then helps come up to the plants and helps pollinate it.
And what about other, like, what other flowers would you suggest for attracting bees? They're asking about
Nasturtiums, which we're going to plant, that's a great one.
Beacon to the bees and bring them to the tower.
Yeah, nasturtiums do really good at bringing bees and hummingbirds and little butterflies and wasps to the tower. Not stinging wasp, like just small local wasps. The marigolds do very well, bringing bees in. Anything that has like dill and chives, that flower. One of the things that we're going to be putting in is this cilantro that is bolted. We're not going to be harvesting cilantro leaves off of it, but I'm putting it in specifically for the point of the bees and the butterflies really like all of these little tiny flowers. So I'm putting this in only for the bees, and though I might get some seeds off of it to plant again next year. These petunias that we put in, bees really like. Snapdragons bees like, which we're getting ready to plant a few of those. Pretty much any annual flower for sure is fine in the tower, and some perennials will do well. Wow, filthy already. How do you stay so clean doing this?
Oh, really?
Calendula, which I just put in, these nice yellow flowers. These will spread. They drop their seeds and it'll come up anywhere, but they love this stuff. Comfrey and borage, they absolutely love too. However, those are big and invasive and self-sow easily. So you can have those in there. You just have to make sure you trim them regularly and try to catch them before they open their seed pods and trim the seeds off. So how are you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty good. All I have is a toothache.
Okay.
Okay. I'm doing pretty good. You can turn it wherever you want it. Where do you want it?
I don't know where I want it right now, because we haven't thought through this. Oh, no, finish those and then we're going to plant the parsley.
Oh, okay.
I got a few flowers that I can't really tell you about because they were interesting, and I thought I would try it. These are called, and I'm horrible at pronunciation, Celosia, Celosia, called Red Flame. And I thought it would be a nice contrast to the green, and they do get some nice little flowers, bright red flowers that would attract hummingbirds to the tower. So we'll probably put these in. Thinking, where's the best place for these?
Oh, I'm not doing this one.
Oh, L.
It seems like this is so big.
You can just crunch it a little bit, right, and it kind of elongate it like.
Yeah, it's too square, I think.
Here we can. You can hold these for a minute,
Okay.
and I'll take over that one. I'll see.
Karen, how can I prevent the flies from getting inside the tubes where I put my compost in? It's a little bit off topic, but you can just mention the composting video. We'll post the link.
Yeah. I'll just say quickly related to keeping the pest out of your compost tube. Very quickly, that usually is an indication that you don't have enough browns and you have too many greens. And so you need to start adding more browns than greens to kind of get it back in balance. But we will post in the comments the link to the composting videos for reference. Kind of anxious to see what these tooth plant.
I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so while I'll do these,
Okay.
why don't, in those openings that we have there in that triangle, we got 3 parsleys in there.
Okay. Were we putting them up or down? Are we putting these up in here?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
With a nice triangle. Well, at least I think it's going to look nice. We'll see once they start filling out. It might be like, oh, that was the worst decision. But
Well,
that's,
next year we'll know.
yeah,
that,
that's
right?
the beauty, that you can make adjustments. If something doesn't work, though, it's disappointing. It is very easy to take something out and put something else back in. So I'm going to try your approach here, Ellen.
Okay.
Why do I keep saying Ellen instead of Elle?
Well,
I think it's because we're on video and it's just more
actually,
formal.
my name was Ellen for a long time.
It's just habit, I
You're
think.
just right. You're just connecting with the past.
So, did you garden a lot when you were younger?
We had a huge garden when I was small.
Yeah. So, what were the things
Of course,
that you
when
liked to...
in my I was still part of the victory garden thing that people had
Yeah.
for the war, and the whole neighborhood we met. We had a lot on the corner that everybody farmed, and we would bring our water on a wagon in buckets. So
Well, that was hard work.
it was a lot of work. Yes.
This is a lot easier than that. Well, it's pretty nice to be able to kind of grow all this for yourself,
Really nice.
And what we were talking about earlier, that there's all these salmonella and E. coli outbreaks for lettuces and fruits, and you can grow all of that yourself out of here, and you're not going to get those problems. So that makes it pretty nice.
In fact, I think there's nothing finer than sitting here and eating your produce.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like eating sunshine. Is what.
Oh, totally. Well, that's what we did. What was it yesterday? We just ate the green beans straight off the plant.
I know. I think that's the ultimate.
Well, I'm going to have to practice your bottom to top technique a little bit. It's not quite working the same for me as it works for you. So we have a lot of other herbs to plant. So if you're able to get your herbs in these smaller pots, you can kind of just wedge them in there, still in the pot. So you can kind of see what you think they're going to look like.
Okay, here we go. Oops, I'm running into a problem here.
Uh-oh, what's the problem?
I need soil on the top here, because if you've already got something planted here, well, I'll put it in. I'll do it the other way. I'll put it in from
Or
the
you
front.
can just put some on the top, but
No, I'll just put it
Do
in
it the
from.
top down way.
I'll put it in this way.
Right, the top down way instead of the bottom.
Right, I'm doing the top down way. I think that there's a lot of spillage if you do it this way.
I agree. That's why I'm surprised that you're so clean and I'm so dirty. So these are all like oreganos and marjoram and thyme. I got some sage here that we're going to put in. Put that there. How about that? Put this one up here.
I did it. Got
Yay!
it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat and I'm going to push some this way.
Oh, no cheating. You can put here. We can push some down from up here, and we can just add more.
You know what? I
So-
could just fill this into the top here, couldn't I? Where there's a hole where I made a hole.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty easy for you just to get up and do that and pour it in.
It
and
is. Yep.
No real
problem.
bending at all.
Okay.
So let's see what this side looks like so far.
Okay.
For those who are watching, what do you think? Do you like the design so far?
Nancy said it looked so pretty.
Nice.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Thank you, Nancy.
She says, hoping I can have one like that.
Just play. It's part of the fun of it. Don't take it too seriously. Play around. Try some stuff out.
These are really pretty, aren't they? These here.
Yeah, they are.
plants.
I'm
Yeah.
not, I've never planted those before. I'm not familiar with them, but they add a nice bit of color.
They are. Yeah.
So we have, so we could put one of those other watermelons right here.
Okay.
Mary says cool. Christine loves it.
Thank you, everybody, for your support.
Oops.
Holly said she's enjoying hers. She wants a couple more.
Yeah, they do get a little addictive once you realize how easy it is to grow stuff.
Laura says you girls rock.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we're going to plant, I think we're going to plant those herbs there, where I have them just in the, but we have a couple sages that we need to get in there too. Let's think about that. Maybe sage gets kind of tall, so, and it gets a nice flower on it too that the bees like.
Now we have a couple of empty pockets, but maybe we should leave them empty, do you think? I don't know, there's one down here. This is empty.
Oh, I know what we were going to put there. Was the purple basil.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a big guy.
You should pinch the top of that.
Pinch it off?
So if you pinch the top, it will encourage it to get bushier and not go to flower as fast.
Can I eat it?
You sure can. That's what it's there for.
Okay. Let's see. Here?
Yeah. So I'll start putting these on. I'm glad I can identify this stuff by smell since I haven't put any of the tags back in. So once again, just going to loosen this up. How are we doing on time, Tom? I don't want to bore everybody with you just sitting here watching us put plants on a tower. So, if you, once again, if you have any questions, so I should add, because I haven't said anything about it, if you're not familiar with these guys, these growing systems, you can go to gardentowerproject.com. And there is a nice page. It's called How It Works. You can click on it right up top, and it'll show you, everything about how a tower works with the integrated vermicomposting in the center. reclaiming excess water from the drawer at the bottom, which we'll show you in just a second. And yeah, I mean, it should answer most of your questions. If you already have a garden tower and you have a lot of questions or want to share with the garden tower community, we have a users group on Facebook called Garden Training Project, and that is linked from our Facebook page. But you can also do a search for Garden Training Project and join that group. I think we have, I don't know, we have like 7,500 people in that group now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a lot of people.
What I like about that group is I think everybody gets an answer to their question. You know, there's
Yeah.
always responses and people sharing their experience.
Yeah, that's true. I've very rarely seen anybody not get any kind of an answer.
Right, right. Okay, we got that guy in.
So I'm gonna, I think, timing-wise, probably gonna wait just a minute before we go on and pull these out.
Okay.
We had one person, when you said that, it reminded me, in Garden Training Project, that is having a horrible time growing beans in their tower, and they wanted to know, potentially why that was. So one thing, the biggest thing, is you want to make sure that you get a soil mixture that is meant for your area. So the best is to go talk to a nursery and ask what's there. It is possible to overwater a tower. Though the drawer is there to catch any excess, you only water really initially to the point of runoff. And you should not water it to the extent that you fill the drawer every single time, because if you have a soil that holds a lot of water, it's gonna drown your plants. The leaves are gonna start turning yellow. They're gonna get stunted. So it's good to learn about how much water you actually have to put in your tower to keep it hydrated. We sell that Save a Drop water meter thing that you can use it'll tell you how many gallons it took to fill your tower or to water the tower. That's a good tool, but you can also measure it by gallon or 2 gallon or 3 gallon buckets or something like that, so you know how much you're putting in. Especially when you first start it like this, we're going to water it down real well. And as soon as we hear, this is initial planning, as soon as we hear water in the drawer, we're going to stop. And then we'll know, okay, the holding capacity is 10, 12, 15, 5 gallons, whatever. And then we'll know when to rewater, how much you should water again. So the other thing people asked about was planting things that are vining in a tower. Oh, wait a minute, we got one more watermelon to put in.
Okay.
Let's put that one here. Since that one's kind of out of its little thing, it should go in.
Well, I think Laura had a little misunderstanding. It says, Tom, you are amazing for doing this. Well, Laura, if it wasn't for my better half here and my lovely mom.
Yeah, so this is Tom's mom. So if everybody was not aware of that. So put this down. So the other two vining things that we'll put in real quick, I have 2 nasturtiums, which you guys have heard me talk about before. I just pulled the tag out, so I'm not remembering which ones these are. Nasturtium kaleidoscope mix. So they're going to be all different colors, which will be nice.
All right.
So we'll plant one there. And maybe we'll put them side by side. That way, no, I'll put them at an angle. We've been doing the angle thing. We need to stay with the angle. And then the other two things are Malabar spinach. So this is not spinach as you know spinach. These are thick, meaty leaves. If you try to like saute it like spinach, it gets mucusy. So it's not meant to be cooked that way. But I found that out the hard way. It's really good raw, and it has really high nutrients. And it vines as well, and it gets purple flowers that the hummingbirds are just bonkers over. I mean, they love it. So why don't we...
If it's viney, do we want it down?
Let's do those there.
Okay.
And then that gives me a 3-pack area there for some of the other herbs. So do you want to go ahead and put those in?
Okay.
The other thing I do if I don't have a bucket is I'll take the dirt out and stick it in the pocket above. And then I can just grab it. But yeah, you're right, you do lose a lot of soil that way. Well, and it doesn't help that you're doing
All right,
this.
I'm digging a hole here, and you're
Oh, and I'm
filming.
pushing it in. Sorry. Sorry about that, Elle. That's the epitome, isn't it? One dog digging a hole and the other dog's digging one and filling the hole in.
Oh, God.
I'll push in from over here.
Okay. Now you can. Oh, okay, there we go.
So these vining plants and these melons will, obviously vining meaning that they'll, move away and trellis out from the tower. As these melons get a little bit bigger, I'll show you about how to trellis melons and cucumbers and stuff away from the bottom of the tower, so it still allows you to turn the tower. I think that's probably good for now.
Yeah, this is good.
Instead of boring everybody with our banter back and forth about filling in holes that Elle's trying to dig.
Okay, see if you can get anything down. I think I got enough in. Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and water this some. I'm going to slide all of these plants back that we still need to put in. And I'm just moving those so I can get to the drawer. So this is a 3-gallon bucket that was designed to be able to hold two-handedly, so it's easier to pour. Do you want to spin it and I'll water it? Does it feel like it's getting heavy? Or heavier?
No.
Okay. So that's one thing that you can tell, like if you're watering and, if you can just like spin this like nobody's business, it's probably too dry. It should, when you have enough water on it, it should give a tight bit of, just a tiny bit of resistance, like a little oomph that's needed to get it started. And since, oops, sorry, stepped out of screen, I know. Since these are all fresh plants in the pockets, so they haven't made their way into the compost column to use all of the nutrients and get to the water, when I first plant stuff, I usually go ahead and water the side pockets, so all of those are well hydrated. And this is using our, I'm going to make it a bit of a mess. Oh well, it washes up. This is using our water breaker and our Save-A-Drop water meter. No, oh, we got dirty in the garden. I got them all.
I think we got them all, yeah.
Based on, oops, sorry. Based on how much overflow I just had from watering all of those. Good thing you can just hose it off, right?
Christine said she'd love to see the trellis video. She planted a bunch of cucumbers.
Okay. We'll do that one again. I did a trellis one previously, mostly related to peas and tomatoes. But I'll do one specific for the melons and the cucumbers and stuff on the bottom row. So after you water, you know, you're going to have, when you first water, some amount of water that goes through the system. So you can just take that and pour it right back on top. And once it stops raining here and things dry, I'll clean this up so it looks a little prettier. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them on the Facebook Live video. And Elle, thanks for helping do the video today. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was good.
And I hope everybody has a good rest of your Sunday and a good week. Thanks, everyone.